See. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes, and as people are joining in,
Yeah.
and then we can start after let's say 2-3 minutes, and then we can see.
Yeah.
So Steve, how have you been? Otherwise, how's your experience in Singapore so far?
So far, it's great. Mainly on the way we think. I think, yeah, because this is a new thing for me in terms of thinking regionally right now. Usually I work a lot with Indonesian nuance, right? I think it's quite great. And then a lot of multicultural people,
Yeah.
new culture. I learned a lot, the
Mm.
difference between Indonesia and Singapore, and implementing that into my day-to-day jobs.
Yeah, I understand. It's quite a shift from when you move countries. It's normally the cultural changes, and also the speed is different.
Yes,
Some
exactly.
people told me that the escalators move faster in Singapore as compared to Malaysia, for example.
Yeah.
So you can have all kinds of things you can think of, which can make things feel different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's life. Huh? So and the diversity is where we learn from. So it's all great.
Yeah, and I walk a lot here using
Okay.
public
Yeah.
transport, and it's so great. I mean, like healthier, I can live a healthier life in Singapore, to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
honest.
exactly. It's very well planned and integrated, and I think this is one of the top, let's say, underground metro network or rail network in the world. I think so. It's quite commendable the way they run it. Anyway,
Mm.
I think we have attendees in the webinar. So, hi everyone, welcome to UXArmy webinar. My name is Kuldeep. I am the co-founder of UXArmy. Just for those who do not know, UXArmy is a cloud-based user research platform. The platform offers remote usability testing. You can use Figma, you can use websites, you can use live mobile apps to test with users. We also have a user panel. We also offer a user interview software, just like we are doing now. It's not interview, but it's a webinar. But we also have an interview software called Deep Dive. We also offer things like card sorting and tree testing software. And you can reach out to me anytime you want to discuss UX or you want to know more about the platform. That's about the selling part. Now, let me introduce our guest today. His name is Steve. Steve works as a UX design head in Grab. He works on the maps, as you will see in his presentation later. Steve has worked in many prominent organizations across Southeast Asia, mainly in Indonesia, and now he's moved to Singapore. And he has spent quite some time leading design teams in Tokopedia, and Ovo. Ovo is a wallet in Jakarta, in Indonesia. So he has worked on that. It's a very prominent brand, Ovo. You ask any Indonesian, I'm sure they will tell you Ovo. OVO is quite a prominent wallet. And then recently he moved to Singapore, and yeah, I hope to catch up in person very soon, Steve.
Yeah.
So yeah, without further delay and holding the audience, they want to hear from you more than me. So enlighten us, please.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kuldeep, and hi everyone. Thanks for joining. I think it's 8 p.m. in Singapore. I'm in Jakarta, no, in Indonesia,
Yeah.
to be exact, in Malang, my birthplace city called Malang. In Indonesia, it's still 7 p.m. now. Thanks for joining here. Let me share my screen. Okay, so for today, yeah, as Goldip mentioned, I will share about maps, user experience for hyperlocal maps in Southeast Asia. And yes, I just moved to Grab, Singapore regional team, and Maps is one of my portfolio on top of the other stuff like fulfillment and other platform stuff. So I handle most of the horizontal things in Grab, for example, like driver experience, and then integrity/safety, and then comms, and then Grab support, and a lot of platform things that is being utilized by multiple verticals across Grab. And when we say about maps or hyperlocal maps, this is, I can say, a new venture for us in Grab, where we see a lot of problem in our core business, which is transport, food delivery, or I can say in short, mobility business, where we rely a lot on maps in delivering our service, while at the same time, we cannot rely on existing tools that already provided by other players due to the context of hyperlocal needs. That's why it becomes one of our venture that is interesting and well adapted right now. And I want to share all the learnings that we have in building this, mainly related to user experience. And for this session, I think it's good to have, I can say, not too formal, just treat it as a pantry discussion. So yeah, I'm just sharing. We can have a two-way discussion later after I share a presentation, and when we do a Q&A, yeah, feel free to also chime in to give your perspective. Okay, so maybe for any one of you that might not familiar with Grab, in short, Grab is a leading super app in Southeast Asia. As you can see on the right side, we serve multiple line of business from food, mart, delivery, transport, shopping, gift cards. We have wallet there, we have a reward system, and all the, I can say, service that we want to empower everyone in Southeast Asia in doing their business and creating economic empowerment for everyone, so they can, you know, live a more flexible way and, you know, in short or in a fluff way, reach their own dream based on what they prefer in doing their jobs. And we have a, I can say, like culture or reference when we call it Grab Way. And if you ask us about the mission, we want to drive Southeast Asia forwards by creating economic empowerment for everyone. We want to empower 1 of 2 everyday entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia. So we are really Southeast Asia focused, and the empowerment here is something that we really, you know, implement in our principles. As you will see later in maps, we are not only building maps for Southeast Asia people. We are building maps with Southeast Asia people because we want to build the maps together for all of us. And I think in terms of maps, we call it Grab Maps. It's one of our venture, as I said previously, that powers everyday services for millions of people across 480 cities in Southeast Asia. I just trying to find, okay, how many cities in Southeast Asia, and it's quite a lot to find, to be honest. And then ChatGPT come to help me. It's although it remind me that it might not be like super accurate, but we it called in Southeast Asia we have around thousands of cities. So the way to really service all of the area in Southeast Asia is still a long way to go. But for major city where Grab is operated, Grab Maps are already there, empowering everyone. So I will play a quick video here to give a better sense of Grab, and hopefully you can, and also Grab Maps, you can learn deeper by the actual example in this video.
Across Southeast Asia, we do things a little differently. Where others see challenges, we see opportunities. At Grab, we're focused on being a force for good across Southeast Asia, the place that we call home. From the belief that mobility is freedom, we've worked hard to make it safe for everyone to travel and delivered opportunities for the everyday entrepreneurs all around us. With Grab Rides, Grab Food, Grab Mart, and Grab Express, we connect our customers with merchants and driver partners every day. But as we grew, we needed new ways to enable and enhance these connections. Faster and safer journeys, clear directions and fair pricing, accurate and fresh locations. So our teams, with the support of our driver partners and our community, built unique maps of Southeast Asia the Grab way, with nearly 10 million gigabytes of data and 2,000 gigabytes more being added every day, with real-time interactions and updates, machine learning and AI predictive modeling, supporting more than 500,000 GPS pings every second. We're now delivering extensive location capabilities for Southeast Asia and beyond. Grab Maps, driving Southeast Asia forward.
Yeah, if you see some hints by the end of the videos, I often told earlier that we are really focused on Southeast Asia. Yes, of course. That's I can say like 80 to 90% of the effort we want to really serve. But if we see that the technology is scalable in the future, we also plan to also cover other region as well. And one of the plan is to make it as a service as well. So you can imagine, for example, if the service can be super hyperlocal, super scalable, how we can help other company to also utilize the maps in a hyperlocal way for their service. So as a context, so Grab Maps initial purpose, initial build is focused on consumer, business to consumer, Grab ecosystem to consumer. But if you see the opportunity of the maps, you can expand your view that it can be also the B2B business. That's one of the hints from this maps video. Okay. Wait, I think I need to manually go next. Okay, so then when we are creating our maps, there are 4 components that we need to really think deeper. The first one, and obviously places. As of now, we have like 30 million places collected, and also we provide it as part of our experience in, for example, like when we are doing a service search, suggestion, destination, and selection. So those places is not only we call it POI. It's not only for the attribute for the maps, but we integrate it well into our service. And then roads. Roads means the connection between places. So roads data, and then traffic data, distance, ETA calculation. Even now, we are doing some, I can say, fairness for our drivers based on their effort that we can detect through our maps through multiple factors, such as distance and also traffic jams, and even like local situation that are happening, for example, like a sudden wet market in the morning that came up is really common in Southeast Asia, and then in the afternoon it becomes a normal road again. So those kind of nuance, I can say like roads, how we can reach from place to place is really important factors in building our map. And then the next is navigation. After we know the places, the roads, and how we can help our drivers or everyone that are utilizing our map in navigating there. So how we can help them by when I mean help them, is not only you cannot imagine it's only youngster. You need to also imagine Grab drivers who might be an elder, who might be people with accessibility issue, for example, how we can really help them with the navigation. And then, for example, if we talk about safety, for example, if it's a late night drive, how we can provide safe way to achieve their places, safe route, for example, with a proper lighting, so people can feel safer in navigating their way to their home, for example. So a lot of context and nuance that are built into this map experience in terms of navigation. And then nearby, when we say nearby, we have a lot of, I can say, rich data, for example, like local food, legend food, and then for our mart, grocery place, and other malls, for example, how we can provide access for everyone to know their neighborhood, and we can give proper information, I can say updated information based on our service, so they can find interesting places nearby. And then I can say we are operating in an interesting region. As you see on the, I can say, snippet of the picture on the right, you see like a short road, and then a lot of, I can see, small road. In Indonesia we call it like red street, or in bahasa it like jalan tikus, like very small road that only motorcycle or even like pedestrian walker that can, go there. Car don't even have a chance to go in that way, for example. How we can enrich the point of view from there and bring that truth based on the vehicle that is detected from the maps, for example. So, and also the special things, for example, there might be some special event on that specific route that are happening. And you can imagine, for example, we have a transport job from our Grab drivers that see, there are something happening on that area, how they can report it in real time. And then we can inform hundreds of other drivers to go utilizing another routes to reach the destination in a more efficient way, for example. So, a lot of interesting thing in the region that really needs a deep dive understanding, deep research, deep user understanding when we are building these maps. And then if we talk about design process, I can see it's quite common. I can simply quickly share and put more example on it. Of course, the first one is problem definition, because the current digital maps experience doesn't provide a complete experience for the locals to navigate and explore the neighborhood. And I can say it's quite normal, because you can name the biggest maps player in the world right now. Mostly it's not based in Asia, although of course they have some representative, but somehow the local context, local nuance is not there yet. It's a gap that we are working together as a maps player in the region, or I can say in the world, to solve this problem. So we need to find the right problem to be solved first. And then we utilize a lot of user research. I can say we have a multiple from in-depth interview, focus group discussion, and then a lot of discussion with our drivers, our passengers that I can share later in the actual examples. But the goal here is okay, how we can greatly connect the maps to the day-to-day user experience journey, starting from our business, which is the driver experience. So how's the map or how the map experience that we built is not only showing the map, but how we can help drivers to get more earnings, for example. Because at the end of the day, journey from for drivers as our first user focus right now is to earn more in a fair way, in a stable way. So how we can integrate, for example, multiple functionality, for example, like hotspot, where we put, okay, the part of this map has a lot of demand for GrabFood or Grab car or Grab ride, for example, and then how we can integrate to map and then inform the user or the drivers so they can see, okay, for today, I need to go here to earn, we can say high income, because there are several demands there, and then we can utilize. So the key points here is okay, maps is a product, but how you can really integrate it to the problem that you found, for example, earnings. So how maps can help earnings, and we really build it through the user research, to the problem definition, integrate those maps into the day-to-day journey. And then prototype designs, I think it's quite common for designers. We translate insight of local people, and the interesting thing here, we also put more focus on tier 2 and tier 3 cities, where the coverage of the global maps from other players is not strong yet there. We try to complete the puzzle there, and we try to do a prototype design testing directly to the users there. And then after prototype, of course, we validate with users, either in live product, we provide feedback for the users to provide feedback for the map experience, or even through the A/B testing, etc. So it will fit our product roadmaps in the future. There are a lot of interesting findings that I can say a hint for our next product development from the user validation that I will share later. And then we also did several sessions because we want to be as close and as personal as possible to our users. Focus group, we invite multiple users. Why focus group? I think there are a lot of debates that a focus group might bring a bias, for example, in terms of technicality. But what I learned here was the things that I can say, innovation driven that really, encourage a multiple brainstorm or thought transforming process. Focus group is quite, I can say, objective and accurate in defining, okay, what is the real problem, whether this problem has a different point of view from the users, and how we can help to solve that problem. And then we have a grab and drink session. It's a regular bi-weekly session where we invite drivers to have a drink with us, sometimes in Grab office, sometimes in other area, because we want to get the actual updates, actual feedback, the actual pain from our drivers, and translate it in our product roadmap. And of course, usability testing here through the prototype. We also did online, of course, mainly in the pandemic situation, like in the last, I can say, 2 or 3 years. But with, I can say multiple tools, we can do it very well and inform enough for our, I can say, initial release for our product development. And then, what is matter? What makes it difference for so this Asia Maps product? Places and access. Small roads are often closed by locals without notice. Sometimes you don't know. It's like only, okay, I will have a wedding ceremony for my son, for example, in the next 2 weeks. And then, yeah, only with a local agreement, you will close the road and, nobody knows. And then, the road traffic will be stuck because of that, right? So how we can leverage the drivers that will go into that direction and inform us, so we can fit into our maps and informs hundreds of drivers, so we can bring more efficient roads, reducing traffic jams because of that information. Road condition, as you know, maybe in Singapore you rarely see this, but if you visit second tier, third city, the road condition, I think like too narrow, unpaved, steep gradient, lots of turns. It will cause an unpleasant experience for drivers and also passengers, and how we can help them based on their preference, whether they want to face this unpleasant situation, but maybe reach faster, or they prefer safety. For example, we always give a reminder for the drivers while empowering them to choose based on their preference. And then activity hubs along routes is what I mentioned previously, schools, marketplace that might suddenly become busy and cause disruptions. For example, in the morning, wet markets, suddenly it becomes active, traffic jam everywhere, but maybe 10 a.m. or even 11 a.m. or maybe like 1 p.m. is already a smooth route. So it's quite often in also this is here. And then environmental factors, dusty road, little to no shade, lots of heavy vehicles, construction area, how we can provide, I can say, a real-time information, even like traffic accident, for example. So, people on the road can really, be aware of that situation and define what action to be taken due to that information. And the last time, I think it's quite important, and this is one of the key positive feedback that mostly came from female drivers when they have a job in the night. Illumination and safety is very important. How we can provide a safe route based on the recommendation or based on the experience from hundreds of drivers, and while at the same time we, of course, in driver app we have I can say like community supports, where if for example any drivers needs any help, with one single button click, there are a lot of drivers or / community that will help him or her. So, this illumination and also safety with the power of Grab Maps really help a lot drivers in a special situation like that. And then when we say about user-centric principles, so we know a lot of manual things might happen in the maps building, as you see, like reporting, etc. Our principle here is like how we can automate where possible, add quality to our experience by making them effortless. For example, when you have maps, right, and then you have a tolls detected, how we can integrate tolls with the latest price from the government, for example. And then when the drivers or the trip, right, passing that tolls route, and we know from the user needs, they need a receipt for every trip or for every ride. How can we automatically put those toll receipt into the the payment, for example, instead of asking driver to manually enter the tolls? And we can double the validation there, because from maps we can really detect whether those drivers or those jobs or those trips are really utilizing those tolls or no. So automate where possible. And then present with clarity, a lot of maps with navigation, turn left, turn right, arrows, the nitty-gritty of the coloring, for example, is really important. Within the context, focus on the nuance that matter in our region for our users, for example, like roadblocks, etc., that I mentioned previously. And then I think this is a principle that initially it's hard for me to accept, because my principle is like usability, aesthetic effect. But I think as a team, we agree that utility over aesthetic is very important. We employ a functional visual elements over embellishment and style. And then we also engage deeply with the community to build and maintain maps. For example, missing roads. We are using a technology called OSM, OpenStreetMaps. It's an open source where it really encourages everyone to contribute to the completeness of the map. And a quarter of the Southeast Asia edits on those opposite maps are done by the Grab data team. So can you imagine, like on OpenStreetMaps, a quarter of the region is edited by Grab, is feeded by Grab. And then second, street complete. So we have a campaign we try to pilot in Thailand for everyone there to do, I can say, like a map points collection, so we can improve Southeast Asia maps by contributing to missing data points. So back then in our pilot, we have a 15K missing data points, and currently we are expanding this to other countries. For example, what does it mean by missing data points? For example, place to park the bicycle, for example. It might be very important because, for cyclists, people who bike every day, for example, to go to office and they need to go to other place, how we can help him or her to find a place to park their bike, for example. And then Carta View, this is interesting. So we have a technology called Carta Cam. So you can imagine it like a device that the drivers brings to ours, to their car or to their bike, to capture the imagery or even like the places, the points around the areas while driving. So if we see on our other players, it's like a Google car that that really capture the nuance around them, the local, the context, and all the maps, the imagery. We also have, we call it Carta Cam. We collect millions of public images and used by the OSM community worldwide. And then, as I said, driver partner feedback. For every Grab booking, we try to utilize user feedback for better OSM. So from the user experience perspective, we put a form where users can bring a suggestion, and we regularly review it to fit to our roadmap. And GeoStars, I think this is some stuff that we try to innovate by working together with universities. So we try to enable young generation to explore the world of maps, because we believe if Southeast Asia can build their own maps to our digital talent, digital technology, digital approach, we can really help a lot of business to do this and make everything more efficient, mainly the ones that utilizing the maps to empower their business. Okay, so and then how we can translate research insight into the design, right? So this is some of the example. So initially, we don't have a mechanism called cross-sourcing. We try to gather directly from our agent or from our third party, and it becomes a really hassle for us for the completeness one of our OKR is the completeness of the map, right? And by piloting in doing crowdsourcing to our drivers to not only collecting the image or maps, but we also collect all the stuff like road closure, environment, road environment, etc. We can really, provide a comprehensive view of the maps. And then safe route, we also get input from multiple drivers, so we can create a trust in the platform and communicate with the detail on the maps, which one is the safest. And then we utilize that in the journey and recommending to our driver, for example, hey, this is the safest routes based on data that we have. You might take this because it's already a night trip, for example. This is another video example, and this video put more emphasis on the actual experience of the maps. Let's see it.
The life of a driver is a scatter of positive influences on the other people around them. How can we broaden that impact? The Geo Crowdsourcing Initiative aims to create new ways for drivers to become a contributor in the making of our map, ensuring a better experience for everyone on Grab. Through imagery collection, drivers help fill the missing pieces in our model of the real world. Every road, every path, every turn contributes to a deeper understanding of the reality around us. By collecting places, they help give meaning to our maps. How does the place look like? What's its name? How can we get there? They also verify information submitted by fellow drivers and act as gatekeepers to the accuracy of our map data, allowing us to find the places we want to go to when we need them. Road conditions can change rapidly every second. By giving real-time map feedback, drivers act as our eyes and ears on the road so that we can make better decisions, change course, and continue to outserve our customers. By leveraging our drivers' unparalleled mastery of the roads, everyone benefits. From the drivers for whom community support is such an important lifeline, the busy passengers who need to get to places on time, to the merchants who want their businesses to be discovered. What we want to build is a community, a thriving ecosystem that recognizes and rewards all. Let's map our world together. Grab Maps, for you, by you.
Yeah, if you see by the end of the slide, Grab's not for you, by you, I think this is the principles that we apply: empowerment, crowdsourcing, etc. So we build the maps together. And I think this is some of the details of the experience. When I say hyperlocal maps, wedding events, we put some icons there within the maps with some, I can see, we try to mimic or explain everything through icons, through images with multiple icon testing, icon variant testing. And we try to put it within the map. And then we also put short video for some places because we want to bring an immersive view of the environment. Because sometimes if we say dusty road, for example, okay, what does it mean by dusty? Is it still acceptable for me or for other people? So they can play the video and see the actual condition of the streets. And then accessibility icons, for example, like overhead bridge, entry of tunnel, steep road, crossroad, we provide multiple explanation from there. And then detailed walking route, I think mainly for small road, etc. Red street that I explained previously, how we can provide a detailed walking route. Because if you aware, we have several Grab service and we call it runner. So technically, for example, like food service, if we see it's quite near, it's not a car or even a motorcycle or even bike that will deliver the package. It's maybe some drivers who really walks to, to fulfill your orders. So it's quite important for us as well. And then trust, we encourage our users to rate the quality of route after every trip, not only route technically, but also the experience in utilizing that route and provide the right recommendation based on that. And this is the key learnings designing for Southeast Asia Grab navigation, mainly related to driver app. So there are multiple concepts from the drivers that inform our next roadmap. For example, like low data plan, 2G/3G network environment, small display, low performance phone, and then large map space is more important than turn-by-turn instruction, because if you are aware, maybe when you've using Grab service, a lot of drivers want to see overall view maps instead of taking direction, because they know better which route is the perfect route based on some nuance like timing, after office hour, etc. And how we can capture those information and we can bring back to the map. So, we can provide a comprehensive route. And related to low data plans, low network, we are building Grab Map slide because it's really important. One of the key feedback or key loading in our transport screen, the most, I can say, like expensive technical resource when building that or when loading that is the maps. So currently we are thinking hard how to make the map very light in terms of performance. And then if we take a look at the experience, right? So how we can build a clarity of direction with large arrow. It's really relevant to local, as there are missing road names. For example, okay, there are no road names there. Finding a road names in Indonesia is quite hard. How we can provide a detailed arrow that mimic the real situation. And then auto tolls integration to driver app, for example. And then clear visual route information and control at your fingertips. So a lot of things that we are building based on the feedback and also process that I explained previously. So yeah, I think that's all of the information that I can share and we can learn together. And I think the next one will be not necessarily Q&A, but more into like discussion forum to discuss about maps. Back to you, Kuldeep. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. I think I have a challenge here setting everyone to speak because there are settings which I'm not too familiar with. Something for us to solve.
No worries.
But then I think people who have questions can always type their questions in the Q&A section. I think that's possible. So all your curious questions you can start typing in there, and Steve will take them up one by one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, of course, it was very interesting. I didn't know that this level of detail goes into the maps. So thanks for enlightening us on this, Steve.
Yeah.
I think I'm quite surprised with the number of technologies that are behind this.
Yeah.
And the amount of data that we are talking about here, it's really eye-opening for me. And also like how this has been built over time is quite a surprise for me in terms of positive surprise. So in terms of questions, at least while the questions come in, right now there is no question. But I just want to ask you one or two questions. So I think when I saw your first slide or second slide, I think I got some thoughts there.
This one?
Yeah, the second one after this. Yeah, so I guess the next one. Yeah, so I mean, this was like 480 cities. I mean, that's really a lot, and I really wonder like how do so many cities can be mapped in one app, and this always is very startling for me.
Yeah,
how this actually works, and for me it's like constantly managing the experiences of different cultures is really a challenge. So
you're right.
So how what are the insights there? I mean, in terms of handling the cultural differences which appear across, because I'm not sure if this is managed by one team or many teams, and you don't have to tell me that, but just want to know like how does the cultural change gets handled, because it's way beyond let's say one culture. It's so many things. So if you can throw some light on that for me, that would be great.
You're right. Yeah, that's a good point. So thankfully, when we built these maps, we already have an ongoing business that using maps but using other partners. So I can say the experience of the team is there. in utilizing the maps, but not building the maps. Of course, it's different story. And for building the maps, there are technology called OpenStreetMaps, where we can utilize the core foundation from there, and then put a lot of insight slash uncaptured puzzle in my terms, for example, like imagery, local context, local nuance, feeded by our drivers, and also some of our passenger we call agent. And of course, when we say drivers, there are two things. The drivers who really do their job in that country, and we pay them to collecting the maps data. So I can say now the opportunity for Grab, for drivers in Grab is not only fulfilling customer order, but also collecting data. We pay them for that. That's one. So I can say, empower people in the neighborhood to map their own neighborhood and feed to us for them as well in doing their Grab job. That's technically the first one. The second one, for every ride, whether it's food, transport, etc., that are happening within our app, we try to capture the navigation, the routes that is chosen by the drivers, and then we take some data from there in building our maps. For example, imagine like, okay, you're arriving in some cafe, but we know in that cafe or coffee shop, there are a lack of information in terms of street names, in terms of photo, etc. We simply pop up when they are fulfilling the food order. Hey, there are some opportunity in collecting the information for this, and we will give some compensation, for example. And then they are very excited to capture everything, feed it into the map, and then make it more complete. So I think and if you talk about the operational stuff, of course we are utilizing work together with our country team in make a comprehensive view of map there. So I can say the principle here is not like one team building everything, but one team building the core foundation, and then we really utilize everyone, mainly people in that local context, to contribute. And even they review by themselves, the community review themselves, right, to validate. So yeah, that's the principle.
Nice. Nice. Thanks for that. There is a question here from Ibrahim. Say, I think you can read, but I can read it out loud.
Yeah, I can read
he
it.
thanks you and then says, can other applications use Grab Maps as an API? Is this question, which is a little more on tech side.
Yeah.
I don't know how you wanna.
Yeah. So technically, we are having some partnership slash B2B partner in utilizing this, because before opening it widely to public, we want to really, I can say, validate it in our business and in other controlled, I can say, environment. So I can say as of now, without some, I can say, partnership or some discussion with the team, we cannot simply expose the API. But if there is some, I can say, local business that won't try to explore, we can talk and discuss how we can make it as a controlled experiment.
Yeah, then there's a question from Kenneth.
Yeah.
If you have access, you can read through if you want.
Yeah. I can read it.
Okay.
Okay, nice. So actually the key question here is about the validation with drivers and GrabMap users, how it can shape and challenge some of the team's initial hypothesis or assumption when it came to prototyping the map design. I have two examples here. One example is I can say like really designs as visual things. The second is more operational things, right? So for design slash visual, we have a lot of hypotheses. For example, we believe that initially the street names is very important. For example, with the text, because with Singapore context, it's very clear. Every street labeled very clearly. The postal code is super clear. Everything's good. But then if you go to the second or third cities, for example, in Indonesia, there are a lot of streets without names. What I mean by without names is not like the street actually don't have name. They might have, but somehow it's not visible. So the important things there is really, the maps, the detail route, and then the detail arrow. Even if the route is not captured by OSM, how we can simply add that route into OSM so it becomes a route. So you can imagine like, oh, there are a small street there that a motorcycle can pass on, but somehow it's not detected in the map. How we can, detect from our right and then reinform to the maps to create a route from them. So, that really validates our assumption that different place, different culture, different context have different their own challenge. Singapore context might be different with Indonesian second or third city context, for example, and that's why even the way we display for specific cities/area might be different. Although in the future we might expose a functionality to customize the map display. Of course, we have some now, but still limited. But I think the important key points here is how we can really leverage the local context and provide the right user experience based on that nuance. That's from the visual perspective. On the operational perspective, I can say, for example, a lot of drivers really utilize other third parties because it integrates well with the cost that is needed for that trip. For example, like toll costs, for example. For some part of the Grab is not detected because somehow we cannot detect, and from the cost sourcing mechanism, it's not available for every area yet. That's why, for example, people use Waze. For example, even like the Grab driver use Waze, right? Because when you pick a specific route, it will clearly show the toll road, and the toll road is not like one toll to toll, but the accumulative of it. So I think there are a lot of homework in data completeness, where we see initially, oh, it's not a decisive factor for users to pick the maps, so they can pick, for example, Grab map instead of Waze, for example. But it really matters because they want to utilize the cost for the trip, and sometimes passengers don't want to pay extra toll, and they are okay with maybe like 10 or 5 minutes, 15 minutes late, but they don't have to spend several dollars as rupiah for the toll. So it becomes important, and it revalidated our hypothesis, and now we are trying to gather the data. Yeah, hope it answer, Kenneth, and feel free if you have any follow-up question. And then I think there are next question from anonymous, right? So Grab design process has more than 2 research process, 1 problem definition, 2 usability testing. And how do you guys convince product? Oh, okay. So I think the key reason here is more in the limitation of time, resource constraints, how we can do a full design process. So I can say those are the general design process. It doesn't mean for every small feature we do the problem definition, we do a usability testing, prototype, etc. Sometimes we might pass. For example, if the problem is really clear from the actual report submission, we don't have to do a more in-depth interview. If it's clear, then yeah, just define it as a problem statement and do a, I can say, ideation section and prototyping quickly, testing, and then release it. I think so. The answer is it depends based on the complexity. When I say a design process, it doesn't mean everything will follow that design process. It really depends on the complexity of the problems. And when we utilize the prototype, I think this is a good culture that I found in Grab. It's better for us to build a working prototype and then record the session when we are testing that prototype with the users and put some notes there instead of building beautiful presentation. So I can say when we are presenting our design, I can say majority of our time is showing the prototype, showing the recording of the prototype testing, and discussing about the user feedback there instead of a lot of other beautiful presentation. So with this culture that we set, I can say it is a must do to have a prototype and testing process, usability testing, etc., concept testing, etc. And we know that building that requires some time, so we try to accommodate it by doing less on other stuff that we think is not as important as building the prototype. So I think specifically for prototype, it's a must in Grab, yeah, to be specific. But yeah, that's the culture that we have right now. Okay, thanks for your informative talk. How the usability test is done for those amazing aspect. I'm not sure what does it mean by amazing aspect because there's a lot of aspect here. But you can put a follow-up question if it does answer your question. But technically for usability, I think it's quite common approach. For example, we build a prototype, right? And then we give, I can say like job, or not only job, I can say like a direction for users, for example, scenario to complete a job. And then we give our newest prototype with the grab maps and all the hypotheses put in there. We do it in a sometimes one-on-one formal usability testing session. Sometimes we do it in a, I can say, grab a drink, more into concept testing, and we have a two-way discussion there where we show the concept and gather the early sentiment, early perspective. Yeah, I think that's the way we test the prototype. Okay, I think this is the latest one. Earlier, you said that in countries like Indonesia, it is hard to identify the road names. So I would like to know what's the remedy for that. I assume is what you share, which is popping up opportunity for diver. Okay. However, would that affect their speed? Like for instance, they were there to collect the food and they will need to deliver the food. Okay, I got your question. So the key question is like, if there is an incomplete, not only streets, but also I can say like places, roads, navigation, how we solve it. And then second one, if we ask drivers to solve it, whether it will impact our, we call it fulfillment rate, but technically it's a speed, accuracy, etc. based on the ETA that we provide. So there are a lot of, I can say, fulfillment model in Grab. For example, we have a priority order. Priority order means like we need to, as fast as possible, allocate drivers, as fast as possible, pick up the food, and as fast as possible, deliver the food to the customers. And we can track the ETA there, and we have some promise to the ETA. If we see the actual ETA is already over, or even like almost approaching based on what we promise, for example, of course, we won't give that pop-up. But there are some orders that somehow requires drivers to wait for a while in that one. Or for example, it's a standard order where the passenger is okay to wait a bit longer. And we do a batching in the fulfillment. So one driver need to fulfill multiple order, and there are several waiting time in the process. Usually we will pop up there. So again, the context, of course we will prioritize the fulfillment, the main job for the driver. But if we see an opportunity, we bring the pop up to the right person and to the right context. That's for the job or for the image collection that are happening in parallel together with the with other jobs. But let's say if we really want to bring a special jobs, for example, we have a drivers, and those drivers want to only do a grab maps a collection activity and getting compensated only for that. Usually that's the more effective because they are not doing any jobs other than grab maps collection. So that's the way we try to balance between the actual jobs that we promise and also maps collection. And again, if we see, for example, like roads, etc., if there is no names, usually we put blanks and then we put only arrows, because sometimes there is no answer for that because there are no roads name. The name is only the village name, etc. We cannot put simply a name there for the sake of completeness. We simply put a name or empty text there. But the most important thing is the arrow. Hope that answer. Okay, there's a new question. Thank you for this great presentation. I would like to ask about the new data on roads/POIs that is always updated and need to be edited. Where do you collect this data from? Are you collaborating with some authorities? If the data is collected through drivers, is there a double? Okay. So yeah, there are multiple ways to do it. For authorities, we are working together. We are negotiating with some countries, for example, to expose the data for us, because it's for the community as well, right? So it's for good as well. But on the other hand, we also collect two drivers. And for example, if one driver submitted, we are not like directly showing in the map, but we ask validation from other drivers. If you see on one of the video, right? One experience like collecting the image, one experience is simply like popping up. So imagine like you as a drivers go to there, and then there are a driver before that capturing the image and also closing time. And then the second driver only get a pop-up like, hey, we got this information. Let's help us in completing the map information. Is this valid? And then bring the info. They can simply validate and say yes. We have some degree of minimum confirmation / validation before make it available in the map. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the latest question.
Yeah, I think we have come to the end of time as well. It's almost time. So thanks a lot, Steve, once again. And thanks a lot for the audience to come here. I hope you can attend our future webinars too and learn from this. And if you need help, if you want to use UXArmy, just log into our website, create an account. It's free. Try out and let us know if you have any feedback or if you have any difficulties, whether it is budget or it is tool. You let us know and we will be happy to do. I have also posted the LinkedIn profiles for both Steve and myself. In case you want to connect and reach out to us, feel free to do so. Otherwise, the email hi@uxarmy.com is available. You can always reach out to us anytime with this. And with that, I think I will thank the audience and Steve both for this wonderful evening. It was informative as well as for me, it's eye-opening, so to say the least.
Thank you.
So thanks a lot, and see you for the next webinar, guys. And Steve will catch up with you later in May.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a nice evening, everyone. See you guys. Bye-bye.
See you. Have a nice evening.